wasn't worried about being wrong. I was worried about what if I was right.
What happens when you're just staring at that fork in the road? To the left is a known road, a safe road, a road you've traveled before. And to the right, something else. To the right is a road that might mean survival, but it also might mean death. Death of all you've worked for to get to this point. Death of the belief those who follow you once had. A refuting of the trust you've built as a leader. And what happens if no one would ever know that the road to the right even existed? They would be none the wiser if you just kept marching left. Have you ever had to make a decision simply because it was the right thing to do? Even if it meant entering into the conflict, risking your reputation, maybe even your legacy. What would you do? Hey Dale, how are you doing today?
Hey Paul, how are you?
There's a pretty significant event about to go down. Tell me about the season where you had the hunch that there might be a better way.
It was about 18 months ago that I began to notice something that was pretty disturbing and frankly hard to imagine. That maybe, just maybe, there's something wrong. And there's something that we have missed. And that was actually the initial hunch that led us to the ultimate discovery. I wasn't worried about being wrong. I was worried about what if I was right? What would be the implications? I wasn't sure if what we found maybe represented some sort of shift in details of velocity, or whether it possibly represented a counter-argument to the basic principles of velocity. And, oh shit, what if it was a refutation to velocity? Would I be prepared to intellectually challenge everything that I've believed? Would I be prepared to be honest with myself and with the industry and with dealers that I've tried to help and with the company that we built on the principles of velocity? Velocity is what I am. I mean, it's what I believe. It's what I prophesize. It's what I've come to know to be true. And I don't think that I can separate the concept of velocity from Dale Pollack.
How did you feel when you realized it wasn't a counter-argument?
When we did look deeper, we discovered that it was neither an evolution, nor was it a refutation. It was a transcendence. That made me pause again. How would I bring this new insight to the industry? What would they think? And frankly, it's important to be honest with yourself. And if there's a better way to do something, it's got to be done. This is simply a path beyond velocity.
I said, who is this guy and what did he do with the real Dale Pollack?
I think a lot of people were very confused.
I have a funny feeling that Dale's spot on and it's going to work out.
Margin compression has become what I consider to be the #1 threat to our industry.
Just literally every penny counts now in the car business. Margins are compressed, expenses are going up, so literally every dollar you can make, it counts.
We're all facing the pressures, margin compression, and Vioto has helped us overcome some of those challenges. And we see the results.
So we've been pricing according to the velocity method for a whole decade now. It's been an incredible 10 years.
And we searched out Vioto and realized that that would give us the pricing advantage we needed.
Well, we use Vioto for everything.
2011, when we were implementing it, we had to jump. We were 5-6 years ahead of everybody else.
we discovered a way to truly measure a vehicle's investment potential.
We are replacing calendar time with profit time.
Profit time is a rejection of the notion that calendar time has any place in used vehicle inventory management decisioning.
You know, right now, that calendar, we're a slave to that. You know that there's a buyer for this car, I can't replicate it anyways, but you're forced to get rid of it. I think it's going to be a relief for most dealers.
Dale conveyed the calendar may not be the primary attribute that we need to use to price inventory. And it really forces you to think about things a little bit differently.
I think using a one-dimensional sort of axis of just aging, there's probably a better way to do it, and it looks like ProfitTime will address it.
This is what your inventory will look like when viewed through the ProfitTime lens. So ProfitTime isn't doing this, ProfitTime is revealing this.
Turning the screen on for the first time reminded me of turning the screen on the first time in the vAuto tool roughly 12 years ago. It really provides a very clear black and white picture of what your current inventory looks like, and forces you then to start trying to figure out, what do I got to do to solve this? I think our gross is going to go up, our inventory is going to look healthier, and overall I think we're going to turn the inventory even faster.
We don't know everything, and the numbers do. And if you trust the software, it works. At first, I get skeptical. I'm always the one asking why. How is this data created? Who comes up with this? Why isn't this doing this? But in the end, if I just trust the software, trust Dale, it's always worked great for us.
But I do have a lot of confidence in Dale.
I believe the industry absolutely does trust Dale Pollack.
I trust Dale 100%.
There's a few people in the world I trust. I would definitely say Dale would be one of them when it comes to the used car market.
Yeah, I think the industry definitely trusts Dale's judgment and insight and wisdom.